morning, and it is Thursday, and we are so glad you decided to spend your Thursday morning with us. We have a great show for you today. You will not be disappointed, right, Clyde?
No, you will not. We might be, but you will not be. Absolutely. We're glad to have you this morning.
That's right. It is, Clyde, I think, one of your favorite national days.
Say it,
National Hamburger Day. Hamburger. Yeah.
Yes. Of course, every day is kind of National Hamburger Day for me, but...
Hey, here's a quiz for you. Do you know what was the first hamburger chain in the States?
I know
Be guessing at home as well.
I know it wasn't Burger King, but go for it.
No, it was White Castle. It opened in 1921. I know, I'm shocked too. It opened in 1921. It was opened by Billy Ingram and Walter Anderson, who started with the first White Castle restaurant in Wichita in 1916.
Wow.
So that
you remember that, right?
I know that. Almost.
Couldn't help it. Sorry.
You know what? What I liked about White Castle when I was younger and could eat all these things was I loved the onions on the White Castle. Were such a great topping. The onions and the pickle made it so delicious. So what kind of toppings do you like on your burger, Clyde?
Well, I stay away from stuff that might, cause a little problem. I tend to keep it simple. Ketchup, mustard, cheese, of course, cheese. Got to have cheese. I mean, I wouldn't be me without cheese, but cheese, lettuce, and tomato, and that's about it.
For me, and I don't eat hamburgers much anymore, but for turkey burgers, I like a little bit of that, like Thousand Island dressing. It's kind of a sandwich topping, has little pickles and stuff in it. It is so good on a hamburger or a turkey burger. So, yeah, you might want to try that too.
Well, you know what? I've kind of broken the mold for myself personally here lately, Mona. I now have started putting spinach on hamburgers I make at home, and I had to tell you, that really works.
I love that idea. Great idea, sure. Clyde. I'm going to start doing that. Spinach. Yes, it's healthier.
Right. Plus, it's good for gut health. Which means,
well, I'm all for it.
And you know what that means, right? Well, Mona, this morning, anticipating this next segment, I did something interesting, looked up something interesting, Googled women and swimming. Now, UC's swimming team roster came up, but mostly what popped up were references to fashion and the health benefits of swimming for women. Now, that's a revolutionary change from the Victorian era, and how it happened here is the focus of today's Cincinnati Curiosity. Cincinnati women had few options for physical fitness in the mid-1800s. Self-help books recommended home calisthenics, but the exercises were either boring or unladylike or both. So when a floating bathhouse opened near Cincinnati's public landing in 1867, women looked on jealously. The bathhouse, you see, was nothing more than a floating locker room surrounding an open rectangle through which untreated Ohio River water flowed. It promised fun, fresh air, and exercise, but only for men. In 1880, after 13 years as a male preserve, the floating bathhouse agreed to admit women on Tuesday and Friday mornings with two stern matrons on guard to assure no man was around during those hours. Although Cincinnati women were inspired by the idea of swimming, young ladies, you see, did not grow up with access to creeks and swimming holes, so a swimming instructor was on duty during women's hours. The women who showed up for ladies' days at the floating bathhouse represented the more educated and affluent families of Cincinnati, several wives of doctors, while others traveled from the hilltop suburbs just for the opportunity to swim a few laps and, of course, to study the latest swimming fashions. Women's bathing suits back then comprised a single sleeveless garment hanging loosely about the shoulders, terminating in a pair of knee-length trousers topped by a short skirt about the length of the flannel undershirts worn in winter. Aquatic fashions came in many colors and a variety of fabrics. Swimming, according to the Cincinnati Daily Gazette, provided women with more than recreation and exercise. Swimming was an escape from restrictive Victorian manners and clothing. Quote, "What a relief it must be to throw away for a few hours of the week the conventionalities of society, stop appearing dignified, and hie one's self to a place where the proper use of muscles can be demonstrated. And what a pleasure, too, it must be to kick off the skirts and stays and furbelows for once and find the feet free from shoes and stockings." Cincinnati's floating bathhouse caught fire and burned to the waterline in 1893. By then, competition had lured patrons away. Nearly 20 bathhouses featuring large Turkish baths were scattered throughout the city. It was no longer taboo for women to be seen wearing a bathing suit in public, and new beaches on the Kentucky shore at Dayton and Bellevue and the swimming pool at Chester Park attracted most of the summer swimming crowds. And right now, I want to welcome the man behind these curiosities, the one and only Greg Hand. So, Greg, what was the point? Why not just swim in the river?
Well, women in particular couldn't do this. Swimming was kind of a male preserve. And in fact, way before this floating bathhouse, one of the biggest complaints in Cincinnati was all these naked men swimming in the canal. And so swimming was associated with nudity, and it was associated with these scofflaws who were naked, in particular on Sunday when people were going to church. And so there was this very disreputable sort of image for swimming. And so they needed this sedate outside, this sedate exterior, so that the women could be in private. Now, of course, they were clothed. There was no nude bathing for the women, but their fashions were considered so skimpy, even though they covered everything from below the knees right up to the neck, that this was something you did not show in public.
Ah, got it. This was outdoors, of course, so what did they do in the winter?
Well, the boat was put together. Cincinnati used to be a tremendous boat building center in the United States. A lot of ocean-going ships were actually built here in Cincinnati in a neighborhood just upriver, kind of halfway between downtown and Coney Island. There was a neighborhood called Pendleton and Fulton right next door to each other, and they built ships there. And so in the winter, they would take the floating bathhouse and tow it back to upriver, and they would just park it there by the side of the river. And then it was a sign of spring when they would tow the floating bathhouse down and anchor it at the feet of Broadway.
Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay, you said women didn't know how to swim, so how did they teach women to swim back then?
I have no idea if techniques like this are still used today, but I couldn't find a local picture. But in the national media, they showed women tied to the end of a pole. The instructor would have this pole mounted in a bracket, and they would tie the women to the end of the pole and just pump them up and down as they were floating in the water, and then give them instructions on different paddles that they could use while they're dunking them from this pole. It was must have been hilarious. But the women who were reported quoted about swimming were just so delighted to have some opportunity to get some exercise that they would have endured almost any sort of torture.
Amazing. All right, Greg, right quick. How can people read more about these curiosities?
Google Cincinnati Curiosities, and the blog will pop up.
All right, Greg, thanks a lot.
Theologist and writer Thomas Merton once said, "Art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time." And there's one artist who is doing exactly that by treating his art as a form of therapy. And right now, I want to welcome Rich Simmons. Thank you so much, Rich, for talking to us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, Rich, how would you describe your art style?
My art is kind of a mix of street art and pop art. So if you imagine maybe Andy Warhol and Banksy combined, that's kind of what I'm going for.
All right, well, what inspires you to do your art?
Everything. I mean, I'm a storyteller, so I like creating narratives around anything that inspires me, whether it's culture, whether it's politics, whether it's fashion, whether it's love, whether it's sex, whatever I feel inspired by to tell a story about and maybe create an impact and do something positive in the world. I just use that for inspiration.
That's wonderful. All right, you have a program called Art is the Cure. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I started that actually before I had an art career. I struggled when I was younger with depression, with Asperger's autism, with social anxiety. And art was just something that was a release for me. It's something that allowed me to get all of this negativity out of my system in this positive, creative way. So I shared it on MySpace and told my story, and other people came forward and said they had a similar relationship with creativity, helping them go through things. And it's grown from there over the last decade, and it's now all over the world, and people are relating to it and sharing their stories and feeling inspired to give it a go themselves.
Why do you think something is like that is needed right now?
I mean, the world is going through a lot of different and difficult issues, and mental health is going to be a huge talking point for a lot of people. So creativity, especially at this time, can be an incredibly powerful tool. And I, at the start of this, launched an online coloring book just so people had something to do at home. They could download and print off artwork from some of my favorite artists, some of my stuff, and allow them to make art at home and just have fun and be creative and get something out of their system in a positive way. And I think that's what art can do for a lot of people.
You know, that is a great idea. I love the coloring book idea. And you don't have to be like a really talented artist in order to just use art as a cure.
No, absolutely. I'm lucky that I get to do this as a job and as a career and make art that goes into galleries and museums. But art therapy and Art is the Cure isn't about being a professional artist. It's about just expressing yourself and getting out of your system in this positive, healthy way. And instead of picking up a knife and self-harming or doing drugs or something more severe, you could pick up a paintbrush or a spray can or a guitar or a skateboard and just be creative and get that energy out of your system in this positive, healthy way. And the impacts are amazing. The things that people tell me that they go through, from realizing that they have issues and just doing something positive about it, it's transformative. It really is.
Rich, I can imagine it is. So if people want to see your exhibit at the Miller Gallery or just want to check out the rest of your artwork, where can they find you and how can they connect with you?
They can find me on @Rich Simmons Art on Instagram, richsimmonsart.com. Obviously, Miller Gallery have given me an opportunity in Cincinnati, and I'm hugely grateful. And hopefully, when all of this is over and travel is allowed, I will be over there in Cincinnati exhibiting, creating street art, and working hopefully with the local community. And I can bring Art as the Cure over there myself.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Thank you, Rich, for talking to us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mona. As Mona and Rich alluded to, COVID-19 has changed the way we live, literally overnight. With the pandemic keeping families at home, a lot of people are seeing their doctors less. But leading pediatrician Dr. Tanya Altman is urging new parents not to skip out on well baby visits.
I really need to examine a newborn from head to toe, check them out, weigh them, make sure they're feeding well, and then answer all of the questions that new parents have. Tummy issues are probably one of the most common things that parents call and email me about. I'm recommending now that all parents start their baby on a probiotic such as Avivo EBC001 that's clinically been proven to decrease that bad gut bacteria by 80%. For more information on keeping your baby safe and healthy from day one, visit avivo.com.
Well, coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, with many people working from home, your information may be at risk. Well, we'll hear from a cybersecurity expert in Silicon Valley about how you can keep your professional and personal data safe while you're working from home. Plus, with all this rain outside, you want to be sure nothing is seeping into your house. Well, we'll talk to a local waterproofing company about what you can do to keep your basement dry and mold-free. Yes, we need that, and we'll be right back. More and more homes are turning, let's see, I'm so sorry about that. More and more homes are becoming offices. That's what I want to say, and that means your digital life and personal life could be more vulnerable to hackers. Well, Ryan Olson with Palo Alto Networks, one of the world's largest cybersecurity companies, has information and is sharing solutions to help keep business as usual during the pandemic. Take a look.
I think everyone should be suspicious right now when they're opening emails or opening attachments that are related to the pandemic. Your password is the keys to the kingdom for an attacker. So make sure you keep it secret, but also enable two-factor authentication. Companies set up computers with controls on them to prevent attackers from taking advantage of them. And you might not have the same controls on your personal laptop. So help your company stay safe and keep your work on your work laptop. For more information, you should go to paloaltonetworks.com/secure, where we have a lot more details and tips.
Well, there's no denying we've had a lot of rain, so if your home or business has been affected, it's really important to mitigate that situation as soon as possible. And someone to keep in mind would be EverDry Waterproofing. And right now we're here with Charlie Begley to talk a little bit about what they can do to help those water solutions. All right, Charlie, so give us the 411 on your business and what you guys do.
Well, we started here in 1985. We've been around 35 years under the same name. Jim Gilty, a former firefighter out of Cleveland, Ohio, started the business up, and we've grown from 10 employees to about 150 right now. We are the largest in Cincinnati. We do a great job. I think what would make it different for us here, why we're different, is what we do. We do a permanent solution here at EverDry of Cincinnati.
And I imagine ventilation is key in a situation like this. And, I hear that you guys have a unique ventilation system. What's that about?
I think that's probably the best feature we offer, Allie. This ventilation system is similar to a dehumidifier in a sense. A dehumidifier will take moisture out of the air. However, it sends the same air back out into your home. Our ventilation system actually ventilates the air outside. It creates a negative backflow in your home. This machine is in the basement. Anything heavier than air, mold spores, dry rot spores, cooking odors, tobacco odors, anything heavier than air will work its way to the lowest level of the home. This machine will pull it outside and create a negative backflow, pulling the conditioned air from upstairs downstairs, creating the same relative humidity in your basement as you have upstairs, in turn gives you a healthy home.
Oh, interesting. So who would be a good candidate for something like that?
Anyone with any type problems, you're noticing any type moisture, any odors, cracking in your foundation. Minor cracks are a first type sign. You start seeing some cracking. It's time to give us a call. Be proactive about it. Get us out there. We'll do a free inspection for you. Like I said, air, mold, moisture test. They'll inspect the entire foundation in and out and be out of there in pretty good time for you, generally an hour to an hour and a half.
That's awesome. Convenience. And I mean, it's definitely an investment on your home, right? So is there some sort of a warranty that goes with that?
We warranty this thing for lifetime. We offer a lifetime warranty. This warranty is transferable to a new homeowner. So 10 years from today, you notice a new crack, you notice a pump making a funny noise, simply give us a call. No trip charge, no labor charge, no material charge. We'll be there and get it taken care of for you. Just think about it. If you've got issues, they're not going to go away. Next time it rains, they'll be back. Kind of like poltergeist. It's back.
It doesn't go away. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you taking the time.
We thank you very much, and take care, Cincinnati.
You too.
And if you'd like to learn more about EverDry waterproofing, head online to everdrycincy.com or feel free to give them a call at 513-874-7200.
Well, we'll be back with more Cincy Lifestyle on the other side of the break. Plus, be sure to check us out on Instagram. You know, that is a great place where you can let us know where your favorite burger place is, what your favorite toppings are. We want to hear it all. So be sure to follow us right now on Instagram at Cincy Lifestyle. We'll be right back.
TK, the director, has kept a sharp eye out for bathers in the river. Don't see any, but nice guys out there today. Hopefully an enjoyable day. Now, coming up tomorrow on Cincy Lifestyle, we get out the fondue pot, head back to the mid-century modern era. So join us as we take a look at treasures from the past and how one man is fixing them up to become statement pieces once more.
All right. And tomorrow, you know, did you know you can get rid of those pesky allergies? Well, we're going to share that information with you. And here's one tip. Stay away from kiwi fruit. All right, we'll have that and more tomorrow.
Can't wait. And thanks for watching Cincy Lifestyle. Be sure to get out there and make it a great day.
Thanks for watching our video. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, make it a great day.